The silent killers. The worst foods that feed cancer cells. Hello everyone and welcome to Your Health. Do you know what the worst food that feeds cancer cells is? That is a question that may leave you thoughtful. After all, we often hear about the benefits of a healthy diet, but we rarely talk about the dark side of our meals. Look, diet plays a significant role in our overall health, including our chances of developing cancer. Certain foods, it seems, may contribute to the growth and multiplication of cancer cells. Some of these culprits may be hiding right now in your pantry, disguised as everyday items. It is a concerning thought, right? But do not worry, knowledge is power, and understanding these dietary traps is the first step toward making healthier, cancer-fighting food choices. So, are you ready to discover the truth about the worst food that feeds cancer cells? Stay tuned as we explore the foods you may want to avoid or limit in your diet. Before getting into the details, it is important to understand why certain foods may feed cancer cells. Imagine your body as a very active city, and within that city, there are millions of cells, all with specific jobs that keep the city running smoothly. However, sometimes a cell goes off track, behaving in ways it should not. These off-track cells are what we know as cancer cells. Unlike normal cells, which have a cycle of growth, division, and death, cancer cells do not follow those rules. They grow and divide uncontrollably, refusing to die when they should. That uncontrolled growth forms a mass of tissue known as a tumor. But how do those cells get the energy to fuel that growth? Well, like any other cell in our body, they get energy from the food we eat. This is where the connection between diet and cancer comes in. Certain types of food can provide an ideal environment for those off-track cells to thrive. For example, foods rich in sugar, unhealthy fats, and certain additives may trigger inflammation and oxidative stress in the body, creating an ideal setting for cancer cells to grow and multiply. Additionally, the foods we eat can influence our body's hormonal balance. Certain foods can increase levels of hormones that promote cell growth, like insulin and insulin-like growth factor. With more of those growth-promoting hormones circulating in our bodies, cancer cells get the signal to grow and divide even more. Now let us present the worst foods that feed cancer cells. Number 1. Sugary foods. One of the most significant culprits when it comes to feeding cancer cells is sugar. While we all enjoy the taste of sugar in our favorite snacks, desserts, and drinks, its effects on the body can be far from sweet. To truly understand why sugar is considered problematic, it is important to explore how it interacts with the cells in our body, especially with cancer cells. All cells in the human body, including cancer cells, need energy to survive and function. This energy primarily comes from glucose, a form of sugar that circulates in our bloodstream. Glucose is essential for life, and our bodies are designed to regulate its levels carefully. However, when sugar consumption becomes excessive, it overwhelms the system. This surplus of glucose in the blood can lead to inflammation, a key factor in the development and progression of many chronic diseases, including cancer. Inflammation is the body's natural defense mechanism in response to injury, infection, or stress. When short-term, it helps the body heal and recover. But when inflammation becomes chronic, which often happens due to poor diet including high intake of added sugars, it can damage healthy tissues and organs. This ongoing cellular stress increases the risk of genetic mutations, weakens the immune system, and may eventually contribute to the formation and spread of cancer cells. Another serious consequence of high sugar intake is insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone that helps cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream and use it for energy. However, with frequent and excessive consumption of sugary foods, the body can become less responsive to insulin. As a result, more insulin is needed to manage the same amount of glucose. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, a condition often associated with metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. From a cancer perspective, elevated insulin and glucose levels in the blood may promote tumor growth and create a biological environment in which cancer cells thrive. It is also important to recognize that not all sugars are harmful. Natural sugars, such as those found in fresh fruits, vegetables, and unsweetened dairy products, come with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants that offer protective health benefits. The real danger lies in added sugars, the kind found in soft drinks, packaged snacks, processed cereals, candy, sweetened yogurts, and sauces. These sugars provide empty calories and spike blood sugar levels rapidly without contributing essential nutrients. Completely removing sugar from your life is not realistic, and fortunately, it is not necessary. The key is awareness and moderation. By gradually reducing your intake of sugary foods and replacing them with healthier options such as whole fruits or snacks with no added sugar, you can stabilize your blood sugar levels, support your immune system, and reduce the internal conditions that cancer cells depend on to grow. In summary, while sugar is not a direct cause of cancer, its indirect effects, such as chronic inflammation and insulin resistance, can play a critical role in promoting cancer cell development. Being mindful of sugar consumption is one of the simplest and most powerful steps you can take toward long-term health and cancer prevention. Number 2. Processed foods. The next item on our list of foods that feed cancer cells is processed foods. These products are extremely common in modern diets and are often chosen for their convenience and long shelf life. They are the ready-to-eat or easy-to-prepare items that fill supermarket shelves. Everything from instant noodles and frozen meals to packaged snacks and canned goods. Although they make life easier, they also bring hidden dangers that may contribute significantly to the development and growth of cancer cells. Processed foods frequently contain high amounts of added sugars, unhealthy fats, and salt. These ingredients are not only harmful when consumed in excess, but also contribute directly to weight gain and the development of obesity. Obesity is more than a cosmetic issue. It is a serious health condition and a major risk factor for various chronic diseases, including several types of cancer. In fact, research has shown that excess body fat is strongly linked to increased risks of cancer in areas such as the breast, colon, rectum, kidney, esophagus, pancreas, and endometrium. Some estimates suggest that obesity contributes to as many as 1 in every 5 deaths related to cancer. But the problem with processed foods goes far beyond just calorie content and weight gain. These products often include a variety of additives and preservatives, substances added to extend shelf life, enhance flavor, or improve texture and appearance. While they serve a functional purpose in food manufacturing, some of these additives may be harmful to our health. For example, nitrates and nitrites, which are commonly used in processed meats such as sausages, ham, bacon, and cold cuts, have been linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer. When these substances are metabolized in the body, they can form compounds known as nitrosamines, which are recognized as carcinogens. Moreover, many processed foods contain artificial sweeteners, which are often used as sugar substitutes in products labeled as light or diet. While these sweeteners may reduce calorie intake, their safety remains a topic of ongoing scientific debate. Some studies suggest a potential link between long-term consumption of certain artificial sweeteners and an increased risk of specific types of cancer. Although more research is needed to confirm these associations, the possibility is enough to raise concerns, especially when artificial sweeteners are consumed frequently and in large amounts. Another concern is that processed foods are typically low in essential nutrients and fiber. They are often high in energy, but low in quality. This means they fill the stomach without offering the protective nutrients, such as vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, that help prevent disease and support the immune system. Replacing whole natural foods with processed options can create nutritional imbalances that weaken the body's defenses over time. In conclusion, while processed foods may be convenient and tasty, their long-term health impacts can be serious. High levels of added sugars, unhealthy fats, harmful additives, and artificial sweeteners make them a dangerous choice when consumed regularly. Choosing fresh, minimally processed foods instead can help lower the risk of cancer and promote overall well-being. Number 3. Red and processed meats. Our third category includes red and processed meats. Yes, that grilled steak or crispy bacon you enjoy so much may actually be doing more harm to your body than you realize. A growing body of scientific evidence shows a strong link between the regular consumption of red and processed meats and an increased risk of certain types of cancer, colorectal cancer being one of the most notable examples. But why exactly do these types of meat pose a risk? Red meat refers to beef, lamb, and pork, while processed meats include products like sausages, deli meats, ham, salami, and bacon. These foods are typically high in saturated fats and cholesterol. Excessive intake of these components can contribute to obesity, which itself is a major risk factor for the development of several types of cancer, including cancers of the colon, pancreas, and breast. However, the concern goes beyond just fat and weight gain. The way meat is prepared and cooked also plays a significant role. When red or processed meats are exposed to high temperatures, such as when grilled, barbecued, or fried, certain chemical compounds can form. Among these are heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These substances have been shown to damage DNA and promote the growth of cancerous cells. Over time, regular consumption of meats prepared this way may increase cancer risk significantly. Processed meats have additional issues. To preserve flavor and extend shelf life, manufacturers often add nitrates and nitrites. These chemical preservatives can transform into nitrosamines inside the human body, a group of compounds that are well known to be carcinogenic. The presence of these chemicals, combined with the high fat and salt content of processed meats, makes them especially concerning when consumed frequently. It is important to clarify that red and processed meats do provide essential nutrients. They are good sources of protein, iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. Completely eliminating them from your diet is not necessary. The key lies in moderation and in making informed choices. According to the World Health Organization, consuming more than 700 grams of red meat per week may increase the risk of cancer. That is roughly the equivalent of 4 large steaks. To reduce the associated risks, you can start by limiting how often you consume these meats and by choosing leaner cuts. You can also explore alternative protein sources such as poultry, fish, eggs, legumes, nuts, and plant-based products. Additionally, how you cook your meat makes a difference. Prefer gentler cooking methods such as baking, steaming, or stewing instead of frying or grilling at high temperatures. In summary, while red and processed meats can be part of a balanced diet, overconsumption and poor preparation methods increase the risk of cancer. Making small adjustments, like eating these foods less often, choosing healthier cooking methods, and incorporating more plant-based meals can go a long way in protecting your long-term health. Number 4. Foods high in saturated and trans fats. Diets that are rich in saturated and trans fats have been consistently associated with a higher risk of developing several types of cancer. These harmful fats are commonly found in everyday foods such as margarine, industrial cakes, cookies, salty snacks, and a variety of fried items. While these products may be appealing due to their flavor, texture, and convenience, frequent consumption can silently damage the body over time. Trans fats, in particular, are known to trigger chronic inflammation and contribute to insulin resistance. Both of these conditions are closely linked to the development of cancer. Inflammation can damage healthy cells, creating an environment where cancer cells are more likely to grow and multiply. Insulin resistance, on the other hand, disrupts the body's natural regulation of blood sugar and may lead to elevated insulin levels, which can also stimulate the growth of abnormal cells. Saturated fats are most commonly found in animal-based products, including red meat, butter, and cheese. Trans fats are mostly created through industrial processes, especially hydrogenation, which is used to extend the shelf life of many processed foods. These chemically altered fats have no nutritional benefit and can interfere with normal cell function. In addition to raising the risk of cancer, both saturated and trans fats are strongly linked to other serious health problems, such as cardiovascular disease and obesity. Scientific studies show that high intake of saturated fats may increase levels of low-density lipoprotein, known as the bad cholesterol, while lowering high-density lipoprotein, the good cholesterol. This imbalance significantly increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, two conditions that also weaken the body's overall resistance to illness. To reduce these risks, it is important to limit the consumption of foods high in unhealthy fats and replace them with healthier options. Good sources of fat include olive oil, avocado, walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, and fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids, such as salmon and sardines. At the same time, adopting a balanced diet that includes plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins will help maintain a healthy weight and strengthen the immune system. Avoiding ultra-processed foods and choosing fresh, minimally processed alternatives whenever possible is one of the most effective ways to support long-term health and reduce the chances of developing cancer. Small changes in daily eating habits can make a powerful difference over time. Healthy habits to prevent cancer. Adopting a healthy lifestyle is one of the most effective and accessible ways to reduce the risk of developing cancer. While it is true that no single habit can offer complete protection or guarantee prevention, science has consistently shown that certain choices can significantly lower cancer risk. These include improving diet, staying physically active, avoiding harmful substances, attending medical checkups, and protecting the body from environmental dangers. The first and most fundamental step is maintaining a balanced and nutrient-rich diet. A proper diet plays a crucial role in supporting the immune system and preventing cell damage. Ideally, meals should include a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and lean protein sources such as fish, poultry, eggs, and plant-based proteins. These foods are naturally rich in dietary fiber, essential vitamins, minerals, and powerful antioxidants. Antioxidants help neutralize free radicals, which are unstable molecules that can damage cells and contribute to the development of cancer. On the other hand, it is equally important to avoid or significantly reduce the intake of ultra-processed foods. These include packaged snacks, fast food, sugary drinks, processed meats, and foods high in added sugars, saturated fats, trans fats, and artificial additives. Regular consumption of these products can lead to chronic inflammation, obesity, insulin resistance, and other conditions that increase cancer risk. For example, processed meats like sausages and bacon contain preservatives, such as nitrates and nitrites, which have been linked to colorectal cancer. Reducing red and processed meat intake and choosing healthier cooking methods like baking or steaming can make a meaningful difference over time. Regular physical activity is another pillar of cancer prevention. Engaging in consistent movement helps regulate hormone levels, reduce inflammation, and improve metabolism. Activities such as walking, jogging, swimming, cycling, dancing, or practicing yoga should become part of the weekly routine. The general recommendation is to aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise on 5 or more days per week. This level of activity supports healthy body weight maintenance, which is critical because excess weight and obesity are strongly associated with increased risks of several cancers, including breast, colon, pancreas, esophagus, and liver cancers. Even light daily movements can add up and provide health benefits, so the key is consistency. In addition to diet and exercise, it is essential to eliminate harmful habits that are known to increase cancer risk. Smoking is one of the leading preventable causes of cancer and is directly linked to cancers of the lung, mouth, throat, bladder, kidney, pancreas, and more. Quitting smoking at any stage has significant benefits for long-term health. Likewise, alcohol consumption should be kept to an absolute minimum. Excessive alcohol intake is a known carcinogen that can damage cells in the mouth, throat, liver, and breast tissue, increasing the likelihood of cancer. Ideally, individuals should refrain from using any tobacco products and limit or avoid alcoholic beverages altogether. Preventive medical care also plays a vital role. Regular checkups with a trusted healthcare provider allow for early detection of potential health issues, including cancer. Many types of cancer, such as cervical, breast, prostate, and colon cancer, may not present symptoms in the early stages. Screening tests and physical examinations can catch abnormal changes before they become serious, increasing the chances of successful treatment. Women should receive routine pap smears and mammograms, while men should undergo prostate and colorectal screenings based on age and risk factors. Staying up to date with all recommended screenings is an important and proactive step toward prevention. Finally, protecting the skin from excessive sun exposure is another simple but powerful cancer prevention habit. Prolonged exposure to ultraviolet radiation from the sun or tanning beds increases the risk of skin cancer, including melanoma, one of the most aggressive and deadly forms of cancer. Using sunscreen with a suitable protection factor, wearing hats and long-sleeved clothing, and avoiding sun exposure during peak hours, typically between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, are all effective strategies. These habits are especially important for people with fair skin or a family history of skin cancer. In summary, while it is impossible to completely eliminate the risk of cancer, adopting healthy habits can significantly reduce the chances of developing the disease. Through mindful choices in food, movement, substance use, preventive care, and sun protection, it is possible to build a strong foundation for long-term wellness and resilience against chronic illnesses. In conclusion, while no food guarantees cancer prevention, paying attention to your diet can play a significant role in your overall health. We explored how certain foods like sugar, processed foods, and red and processed meats may potentially feed cancer cells. Sugar, often hidden in our favorite snacks, can lead to obesity, which is a known risk factor for various types of cancer. Processed foods, packed with artificial ingredients, can disrupt the body's natural rhythm, potentially triggering harmful processes. Finally, red and processed meats, although delicious, carry certain risks due to their high content of carcinogenic compounds. The main lesson here is not to completely eliminate these foods, but to consume them in moderation, complemented by a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you like this Your Health video, do not forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. And click the bell to receive more health and wellness inspiration. Stay with us by watching one of the suggested videos now appearing on your screen.